Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. 1 week until the VALORANT World Championship officially starts in Paris. So many roster updates last night, many retirements coming out of big name players, but also what's going on with Demon1, officially signed to Dragon Ranger Gaming. This has come out of absolutely nowhere, joining a Chinese team going into the World Championship. Will he be required? That is a key question because it is not guaranteed that he's going to play on the starting roster as of yet. He gives his perspective on the matter, of course. Very much enjoy your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Champions Paris is underway next week. Here's Zelsis and the guys on Sentinels getting ready to go. Getting there nice and early, it's got to be said, right? Because they play on day one of the tournament, so understandable they want to get some good preparation time in, but the earlier you arrive, the more you can get accustomed to the time zone, and the more you can get some good boot camp practice in against the other teams that are going to be there, or simply other teams in Europe that are trying to form new rosters that want to get some practice in against the World Championship attending teams. Now, CNED, World Champion from 2021 with Ascends, as my contract with Fit Esports is expiring, I've basically allowed to explore my options, right? So he's looking at his future options. We'll see where CNED lands next. There's also Stella looking for a team for 2026, as he said, most experienced in-game leader currently available, and well, Asuna is in the replies here. So we don't really know what's happening with Asuna, right? The other day he was talking about, well, I got one more in me, right? Coming back again for another season with 100 Thieves. Is that going to happen? Time will tell. We're not really sure what that organization is doing right now, apart from feeling pretty sure that they will be moving on entirely from Boostio, and he will not be, coming back, let's say, into the team to in-game leader any further forward. Mike's looking for a team as well in terms of a coaching position, and there's also another potential coach on the market soon, and that is none other than Angel. So we talked about it for some time, and as I've said before, like, Angel, to me, one of the most legendary competitive FPS players of all time. And you can see, I mean, this tweet did 1 million views, 21,000 likes on it. Angel's been around so long, played Counter-Strike for about 15 years or so. I mean, obviously, I remember when I started watching Counter-Strike, the Hellraisers days, but even a very long and tenured career before, and even after that. Then he makes the transition into Valorant, and honestly, given his age and his career, did a pretty fantastic job. I think it probably now leaves at top-level FPS only probably Carrigan, really, as the oldest player that's around. I think Angel had him pipped by a couple of years. The run that FPX made back in Copenhagen, absolutely legendary. And yeah, Angel's brought a lot of entertainment to Valorant, I would say, over the last couple of years, for good and for bad at times. But yeah, what a player, right? The fact that he was still able to play and be on competitive teams for such a long time, very impressive. And as he says, after taking a small break, I understood that it takes too much focus and energy for me to compete on the highest level. I truly did my best in the last 2 years, but expectation and reality did not meet. I still believe in my vision of the game. There's a lot of things I learned during this long career, so let's not be sad. One journey and another begins, because I'll try myself as a coach, which I think is the right thing to do. Angel could be a phenomenal coach, and I'm sure that he's still got a bright future ahead of him there. We've got Apex in the replies, Sassy's in the replies, Ardis in the replies, Leo Farrier, etc. So, I thought it was actually really great to see some of the reaction here, because the community, not even just the Valorant community, but also like Counter-Strike and elsewhere, definitely respect and appreciate what Angel has given to the FPS space over the last 20 years. So he's officially retired, and he's going to be coaching, we think, the upcoming season. So that's one of the big updates on that. We also had Weeded officially retiring. It's been very unfortunate, really, for him, given, because such a promising player. I think there was a chance that he had a lot more success than he has after his diagnosis and recovering from it and everything over the last couple of years. He mentioned how it's been a challenge for him to compete at the same level. So, look, he's played for a few years, made lots of friends, new memories, wishing, him the best going forward, of course. Just unfortunate, I think, for him, how things worked out over the last couple of seasons. And yeah, he just says it's just a little bit difficult for him to do this on a more consistent basis. Now, another update from Leviathan. So they're looking to bring in another player and, well, let's say rebuild their team. And supposedly Spikesan is a key member of that rebuild. 2G player, of course, probably the most promising on that roster. Makes sense. 2G are getting relegated. This is the other thing, if you are on a team that's probably getting relegated, if you come up from Ascension, if you do a good enough job, then you'll probably stay in the league, right? Someone is going to pick you up even if your team gets relegated. So there's, of course, if you are a player on 2G, you want to try and win, make it to the playoffs so that your team stays around. But if you know that your team probably isn't going to make the playoffs, isn't going to make champions, so you're unlikely to earn your spot back in, it probably makes sense to play to make yourself look as good as possible. Not to say that's what Spikesound did, I just think he's a good player. But it's something at least to think about for some teams that are terrible, to realise that some players might be best served to put themselves before the team in certain instances. But Spikesound to Lev, we think, is going to be a thing. Chet is looking for a team. Back in business, he hasn't done much for a little while. He says reach out to his agents and they'll get him sorted. So we'll see where Chet goes for the upcoming season. It's been a roller coaster of a little while from him, certainly the NRG days. And talking of NRG, let's talk about one of their former players in Demon1. So this, we talked about it yesterday. Demon1, he was saying bonjour. He was saying that he signed a contract, right? So here he goes, reporting for duty. He said bonjour a couple of days before that. And then DRG yesterday, completely out of nowhere really, just dropped this announcement. Welcome Demon1. They dropped the graphic and here he is, Dragon Ranger Gaming Demon1 to 23,000 likes and 3.2 million views. So where did this come from, right? This is not what I was expecting. But as we said yesterday, it almost makes a little bit of sense just because I wasn't sure that Demon1 would sign to a team now. It was a strange timing, right? It's like the World Championship hasn't even started yet, so unless Demon1 is getting signed by a big name org as the key piece of their rebuild, it doesn't make sense. And if you're Demon1, you probably want to wait, right? Because what if one of the teams at Champions decides after it they want to sign you? So Demon1 getting signed by another team didn't really add up to me. So the idea of him actually playing at Champions, though, was not really on the radar either. And, well, DRG is going to be the destination. Now, this has come from this position. So Vukashu, who's been a phenomenal player for them for some time, he is potentially having some issues with his visa. Shock? No, not shocked really. But he basically says, I didn't get a visa to France because my Chinese visa was expiring. He's a Russian player. It was 2 months, you need at least 3. I couldn't renew my Chinese visa in advance of the embassy either. They don't renew the visa for the current period of 3 to 4 months as I understand. So it didn't add up, but 10 days ago I already applied for the new visa and I should get an answer soon. My chances to visit France are still very high, so don't worry yet. Keep your fingers crossed. But so anyway, there's a potential issue here. The Vukashu might not be able to attend Champions Paris. And as a result of that, the DRG team decided that they needed to sign somebody else as a replacement if necessary, and that turned out to be Demon1. So let me share what he had to say on Tarek's stream last night, discussing why this move came along, why, what's going on over there, and kind of how out of the blue this move was. Because, Demon1, I don't know, would have been especially familiar with DRG and the players on their roster before he signed the contract. Presumably now he's looking into who his teammates are potentially going to be for the big championship.
Dragon Ranger Gaming Demon1?
Yeah, holy fuck. How have you pulled this off? This is actually absurd.
Okay, I just explained it to chat. I'll explain it to everyone watching.
Let's hear it.
Like 5 days ago, my agent says, yo, DRG might need a sub in case their 5th can't make it. Want to play? I said, sure. That's it.
I heard enough.
I am playing
DRG winning
in case... I'm playing in case he does not make it.
You're not guaranteed in one match?
No? What?
Yeah.
It's just in case he doesn't make it.
I see, because his visa?
I agreed to fill in, yeah. They don't know when he will make it, so if he doesn't make it, I'll fill in.
Alright, well, whoever it is, what was
But
his
I'm
name?
still going to Paris, so you'll see me there regardless.
At least miss one match, bro, please. We need a Demon1 in one game. That's all we're asking for, minimum. I actually feel like you're going to go crazy if you play one.
I know.
So this is the team, right? I mean, here you go. It's kind of remarkable. And all the success that DRG have had lately, it's been pretty impressive. They played T1, their first game of champions, in the upcoming week. Of course, they made the grand finals against Bilibili, lost in the end to them in the Chinese side. But still, what an impressive season from DRG, having come up from the challenges. And now Demon1, out of nowhere, really, is stepping into this team. So what a wild timeline. I mean, look at this. From Evil Geniuses to NRG to Leviathan, and now to Dragon Ranger Gaming for what seems to be a short little stint here on the roster. So excited to see how this plays out. As he says, as the team says, it's not guaranteed that he's even required to play. He may not play at all, but he is going to get a free trip to Paris as a result, right? So whatever happens, he's going to be there as a substitute there to help out the team, whatever the case is, whatever is required. Demon1 is back at the World Championship again, and, well, who knows how far he could potentially go. So very much intrigued to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. There was a couple of, well, predictions that Tens was doing, as we say, about a week away from the World Championship. He's got Paper X Sentinels from Group A. He's got RRQ Fnatic from Group B. Team Liquid DRX from Group C. I mean, look, as good as Edward and NRG might be, DRX, they just love getting top 6. And to get top 6, they've got to get top 8, which means they've got to get through the group stages. And then, you know, G2, Team Heretics. Of course, you can play around with this a couple of different ways. Tens obviously struggling with the decision, but very much intrigued to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.